or Netivot Shalom Parashat Vayera, and the page is Gimel, and the topic is Olam Chesed Yibaneh, the world of kindness will be built. V'yomer Hashem, Hina matzati chem b'necha, al na tavo ma'alavdecha, right? So Abraham is asking, right, if I like you, don't pass over me, etc. And Rashi, Mevi, יש אומרים שהוא קודש, that it's like basically what Avraham Avinu was asking Hashem, and he had the guest. He saw the three angels that looked like Arviim, and he didn't know they are angel. He didn't know whatever the Midrash is saying, but Hashem was there with him, right? We know that Avraham Avinu was waiting outside on the third day of his Brit Milah with pains. And then it is if like Avraham is telling Hashem, I will need to put you on hold. Please do not disconnect. I will get back to you later. I have guests. I need to host guests. I'll put you on hold.
I'll be back.
Yeah. And here we learn, Chazal are teaching of Sechet Shabbat, שגדולה הכנסת אורחים יותר מקבלת פני שכינה, that hosting guests is like greater than see the Shekhinah. And we need to explain how is it possible, because really to receiving the face of the Shekhinah, again metaphorically, is the highest level, right? The Shekhinah, it's like one of the attributes of Hashem, and how just hosting guests is greater than that. And also Avraham Avinu, he didn't know who are the guests. Maybe they were an idol worshiper, right? He didn't know, but anyway, he was putting them in a high priority. And he says, right, to Hashem, don't go away. Like, please wait. Wait until I'll take care of the guest. Right? It's a wonder. How is it possible that somebody will tell Hashem, please wait? It just million differences, right? You have the president of the United States, and you have guests, and he's whatever is in a meeting, and you're telling him, just a second, I have some guests to take care. I will get back to you, or you can get back to me later. It's not appropriate, right? Okay, but how we know that Avraham Avinu knew that hosting guests is a higher level? Also, we need to explain what Hashem was telling Avraham when he was commanding him ala milah, right, for the Brit Milah, and also ala milah italech lefanai v'yeh tamim. Like walk in front of me and be complete, which means after all the achievements and the gadlut of Avraham Avinu and all the elevation, he's still like missing a level of walk in front of me and be completed. And that's a question. You say why? Because we already found in Noach, when it says Noach ish tzadik tamim, that Noach is like it's a righteous, complete person, and he walked in front of Hashem. Et Elokim italech Noach. Like, so you have these two levels of a complete tzaddik and walking with Hashem, even though he didn't have the Brit Milah. And also, there is another question, that the one that Dorshim Legnai, right? So some of our Chachamim, they say that, yeah, Noach was a righteous person in his generation, and if he would live with the time of Abraham, he would be considered like nobody. So now, if you're looking at these psukim, then it's a question about these people that are Doreshim for Gnai, right? Because, okay, fine, when you say he was a righteous in his generation, but he will be considered nothing in the generation of Ram. But look, the pasuk said that he was a complete righteous and he walked with Hashem. Right? That's the question about these people that Doreshim to Gnai. And Avraham Avinu was getting to this level only after the Brit Milah. Okay, and also we need to explain, the one that says that the world of fixing the Olam HaTikun started from Avraham Avinu. Why? Because we already have Noach, which was a righteous person, right? Tzadik tamim et Elokim italech Noach. So why the world of fixing the world didn't start from Noach, only from Avraham? And also we need explanation that the Seder HaSfirot, right? We have these spheres, which is the Chesed and Gevurah. Right, we know these two, the chesed and the kindness, right, and the strength. We know that chesed, midat ahava, right? The love, the level of love coming first, is the important one, the higher one, and then the gevura and the yira, the fear and the strength. And we need to explain why, because according to the Zohar, we learn it many times, the Pkuda Kadma, right? So the first fear, it says, Yirat Hashem, right? This is first thing, Reshit Chokhmah, the beginning of wisdom, fearing Hashem. And only after that, love. So we have so many questions here. How come that Noach was a tzaddik tamim, Avram wasn't? How come he do hospitality before, like Hashem, he putting him on hold, right? So we have a few questions. And we should say, העניין דהנה תכלית בריאת העולם, the purpose of creation of the world, היא מידת אהבה, the level of love, right? There's a certain תהילים, כי אמרתי עולם חסד ייבנה, right? כל סדר בריאת העולם, the order and the organization of the whole world and everything, by the love, the level of love. Because if we look at it, it's possible, of course, from Hashem, right? Hashem, he could actually created the world in the level of yira, of fear. But Hashem will was that it will be from love, because that's like the main foundation. It's one of the pillars, right? The love, the midah of ahava, for the existing of the world, right? Because we know when Hashem created the world, and it was only ira, and if somebody will do a mistake, he will be gone, no mercy. So that's the yira, and usually yira it's din, strength, no compassion. Everything by the book. Somebody do something wrong, it will blow up in the air in the same second that he did in Avera. So Hashem said, the world cannot exist. Okay, we have to involve the chesed and the ahava, right? Okay. And also we find that Rabbi Akiva Amar, right? V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha ze klal gadol b'Torah, right? It's a great rule in the Torah. Love your friend like yourself, right? That's the foundation of the Torah. Okay. So he said, we know that the first bite was destroyed by the three big ones, right? Avodah Zarah, Gilu Arayot, and Shfichut Damim, right? Adultery, immorality, and murder. The big three, or the three big ones, right? And the second Bet HaMikdash was destroyed on Sinat Chinam. And it says it's a big question, because it's not understandable, because Sinat Chinam, baseless hatred, it's just a mitzvah that we're not supposed to have, like ela mitzvat love, right? It's one of the loving, lo ta'aseh. The lo tisna et achecha belevavecha. Don't hate your brother in your heart. And how is it possible that because of that, just by hating your brother, he doesn't even know, you can be smiling at him, and helping, whatever, but inside you can hate him. And because of that, the house was destroyed. Because the sinat chinam is actually a contradiction to the purpose of the creation, and it's like shaking the foundation, because the world is actually being built on the level of love. Remember, that was the topic, the name of the topic of the shiur. And also we found many times in the Torah that even though there was no punishment specifying in the Torah, right, like so severe, but the blemish, the pgam was horrible. For example, machloket, the dispute, right? We found with Korach. What did he do? Actually, we have a dispute, but what the outcome was supposed to come out from it was so severe, right? Because why? Because the separation that Korach was doing was again contradicting the purpose of the creation. Because Hashem wanted to have a place here in this world, right? The Rabbi Tachtonim, and also he was building a world of Chesed, and the dispute is contradicting it, right? So we found other places in the Torah that the punishment was not really mentioned in the Torah, but we know from the result what happened, the severity, right? Like Aboel Aramit Kanaim Pogim, or something that goes with the woman that is not supposed to go, then zealous people will hurt him, right? So it's found like he's getting an execution, even though from the Din Torah, he's not supposed to die, but because what he's doing is actually contradicting the purpose of the creation, then yes, somebody will kill him, and that will be fine. This is what Hashem planned it to have. And according to that, we should say that the world of Tikkun, the fixing world, started from Avraham Avinu, and this is the meaning. Why? Because according to the higher spheres, this is what Hashem wanted to happen. But in the Pshat, he says that Tikkun HaOlam, fixing the world, is in the level of love. And this is what Avraham was bringing into the creation, the world of fixing, but through the level of love, right? Peace and love. It's much better than a war, right? Asher zot tachlit briat olam. Again, that's the purpose of the creation, to create a world of kindness, of chesed. And he was waking up that level of love. And also from heaven, they're bringing that level of love. But Noah, however, his avoda and the entire surrounding when he was living it, everybody was stealing, kidnapping, doing horrible things. You cannot have a person that is all kindness and love in that time. You need somebody very strong, only with yira, with fear, to stand against them. And that's why the name of Hashem is name of Elokim. Et Elokim italech Noach. Elokim is at the level of judgment, din, and strength, right? And not like Yudke Vavke. That's the middle of Yira. In all his level, the Torah was testifying that Noach was in the level of Yira. And therefore, if he would live in the generation of Abraham, it is if like he's considered like nobody or nothing. Why? Because at the time, what was actually was counting was the level of ahava, of love, in order to fix the world. Because it says a moment of tshuva from love is important more than 100 fasts that the person will do and torture himself, etc., in order to do tshuva. One moment of love, loving Hashem. Because when a Jew is worshiping and serving Hashem from the level of love, he's actually fulfilling the purpose of the creation to create a world of chesed. And therefore, Noach, when he was such a righteous person, but he was a complete righteous person in the level of fear. So that's why comparing him to the level of Ahava, he was considered like nothing. Because at the time, the level of Ahava was a higher level. And this is what Hashem was telling Avraham, Italech lefanai ve'yeh tamim, walk in front of me and be complete in your level, in level of the Ahava. And be tamim, tamim is like a complete, so you will achieve the purpose of perfection in the level of love. And that level Avraham could achieve only after the Brit Milah that he had. And this is what explained, which with Noach, we didn't find that he was Megayer people, right? Noach was like, okay, yeah, he warned people, 120 years. He was warning people, Hashem is going to bring flood, Hashem is going to bring flood, right? He was a conspirator, right? Conspirator. Nobody believed him. But he didn't really try to influence people to bye-bye. But Abraham was trying, and was helping and providing food. And people say, oh, thank you, don't thank me, thank Hashem. Very, very nice, easy going with the level of love. But in the time of Noach, it couldn't work. And he says, Man Daita Bazohar Kadosh, it said that fear was previous to the love. Because even when the purpose of the creation is the level of love, because I said, Olam Chesed Ibaneh, will create the world based on kindness, and that the higher mitzvah is loving Hashem, right? But still, without fear, you cannot reach loving Hashem. Because we are built from material, right? From soil, from dirt, which is making us very megusham, right? It's always bringing us or pulling us down. Right? It's not a coincidence when Hashem created us from the dirt, from the soil. So we have like two levels. One, making us lazy and pulling us down. Or we will try to be like Adam, like Adam El Elyon, like we be like Hashem, metaphorically. So when we are such a made from material and we are so lazy, how can we reach to that level of loving Hashem? By the fear first. Because the fearing Hashem, simple fear will actually make a person very humble. When you're scared from something, when you're worried about something, you're very humble. You don't have the proud, right? As I said, just says in Masechet Nidach, actually fear we can stop a woman period. People get white suddenly because all the blood is going down when they're really scared, right? All their hair can be turning overnight to white hair because of something. So fear is really having an impact on a person. By having the fear of Hashem, we're reaching into that highest level, which is loving Hashem. And also in the Seder HaSfirot, in the spheres, Chesed is before the Gevurah. Because that's the purpose of the creation, to have the fear, to have the love. And indeed, Avraham Avinu was achieving that level after we got the Nisayon of Ur Kasdim. Because the fire, right? So in Ur Kasdim, we know that he was like a rebel against Nimrod, and Nimrod build that furnace, the big oven, and for Avraham Avinu. Avinu was not burned. So said at the time, he like became all spiritual. So there was no chomer, no gashmiut. And therefore there was nothing there to be burned. Because it was all spiritual. Got achieved like a very high spiritual level, Avraham Avinu. In that nisayon of Ur Kasdim. והנה בניסיון העקדה, but the other nisayon that he have, it says, והאלוקים ניסה את אברהם, right? So in Ur Kasdim with the fire, it was the Shem Hashem, which is the Chesed Avah, and Avraham was doing it willingly. But here in the Akedah, actually we have the name of Hashem, Elokim, right? Not Yud Kei Vav Kei. And it says in Torah Avot, Maral Saba Kadosh Velocho, with the Elokim, right? We learn that is the midah of the din, of the tzimtzum. It means that in the time of the Nisayon, like all the achievement and all the like the wisdom Abraham has, all his level were taken from him. And now he's all alone with what he have by himself, right? Even though he said, I don't have my higher level and the spiritual level and all the achievement that I have, but I have going to give my nefesh to Hashem. And after the Akedah, it says, now I know that you're Elokim, right? So we learned that Akedah was like the 10th Nisayon. So what? 9 Nisyonot, Hashem didn't know that Abraham is fearing him. No, because the Nisyonot were actually from the level of love, that Abraham was willing to kill himself, everything because he was loving Hashem. But now with the Akedah, it's not about you. It's about now slaughtering your own son. How can he do that? By having that strength and by having this fear and the din, he was able to do that. Again, he didn't do it eventually, right? But now Hashem is telling, oh, now I know that you have the fear as well. So now you are completed. Right? Now you are completed. And now we can say, Masha Amar Avraham Lashem Yitbarach, Al na tavor ma'alav decha, don't pass above me, right? When he was putting on hold. De'ine ovet me'avar, etzono la'asot rak et ha'itev be'inei Hashem, right? So somebody that's serving Hashem out of love, only wants to do is what Hashem liked to have, right? To please Hashem. What is good in the eyes of Hashem, right? And he said in the Torah later on, that was the Aaron reply to Moshe, when Moshe was upset about the korbanot. Then Aaron was telling Moshe, right? Aitav be'enei Hashem, it was good in the eyes of Hashem. What do you want from me? And that was the shoresh avodato, the root of his avodah. That whatever he is doing, even if it doesn't look good in your eyes, but it's look good in the eyes of Hashem. And therefore he said, I didn't do like what you told me, but I did what Hashem really happy with what I'm doing. So Oved Meira, somebody that's serving Hashem only out of fear, is doing only what he was commanded to do. But somebody that's doing it out of love, he's actually observing what Hashem wants. What Hashem wants, right? And I think we learned it before, like an analogy of a father that's asking his son to make himself something hot to drink. So the son can say, what do you want, coffee? Okay, instant coffee, stir it. You want milk? Yes. Sugar? Yes. Okay, here we go. But if you know his father, you know, oh, he's not a fleishik, so he can eat something milky. You go and get him a cheesecake, you go this, you go that, you know, some fruits, etc. He will do more. Hashem asks us to do something, but because we love him, we're doing more, walking the extra mile. Right? So we said, so Hashem really like us to have guests, the hospitality, and to do kindness, because this is what we learned, that Hashem was creating the world based on love and chesed. So that's higher level, right? And Hashem is like putting himself on hold just so you do what Hashem has actually created the world from. But somebody that works only from fear, he cannot get to that conclusion. Only that somebody that's serving Hashem out of love, he knows what Hashem really like. And we can say it in another way. When it says, Al na ta'avor ma'alavdecha, on the way it says in Tehillim, Achat sha'alti me'et Hashem ota avakesh, right? One I asking from Hashem, Shivti b'beit Hashem kol yemei chayai, right? We're singing this song, sometimes we don't understand. I have only one request from Hashem. My request, sitting in the house of Hashem all my life. So Avraham Avinu, after he did the Brit Milah, right, and he achieved that higher level of, he was walking in front of Hashem and he was perfect, he asked from Hashem, you know, don't pass me. Stay always with me. I want always to sit in the house of Hashem, no matter where I am. My house should be your house, Hashem. Mikasa sukasa, right? And by having that, then he will be sitting in the house of Hashem 24/7, right? And this is what he wants, because the hospitality is actually not only that, but it's always to think what Hashem really likes, what Hashem loves. And this is what Avraham Avinu was like rooting in us, the level of love. And it's like even our big enemies, whatever is going in Syria and other places, when actually not long ago they were our enemies, they were trying to destroy us. But how can we stand and see what's going on? So we're helping them. We help them with doctor, medication, whatever, in the borders. They're our enemies. But we are merciful. How can we stand and do nothing, and let them just die? So that's our nature, and this is because of Avraham Avinu, and this is what Hashem wants. Shkoyach.